Hello, ladies. Good morning. Welcome to,
Woohoo!
welcome to another edition of the Morning Cup. Crazy to think it's June already. Where has the time flown? But nonetheless, we're kicking it off with a little cheers. Happy toast.
Cheers!
My work wife.
I love it.
Mm.
Lupe, you have to tell them where you got your mug, because I think we always seem to have a story behind our mugs, it seems like it.
Yes. Okay, so my kids know that we're now doing this morning cup session or segment, and they went out shopping for the first time this week, and they came back with this beautiful little like fox mug that says "Hello, lovely." They're like, "Here, Mom, we thought you'd like a cool cup for your segment." So props to my kids for being
props to them. You have good kids, and I can't believe your daughter graduated at 22. With a chemical, what is it, an engineering degree of some sort?
Bioengineering with a minor in mathematics.
Oh my God.
I'm not going to lie.
That is crazy. Congratulations to Julianne. Mine comes from my old assistant, now friend, and she's a volunteer with us who now lives in Georgia, Sheena Powell. She gave me this mug when we first launched our very first Biz LifeCon. And I love it because it says, "You go, girl." And it has like, okay. And it's so poignant that it has all these flavors of shades.
I love it. They're all doing their thing.
I love it. So I love this, and I love Sheena. She's like a sister to me.
She's awesome. Yes. No.
Yes.
Well, so we are excited, ladies, to have you here. It's going to be another fabulous story and day to kind of just talk to you about different types of topics that we are always on the lookout for you, ladies, women over 40 and 50. The Morning Cup is really just an opportunity for us to bring these topics to you in a fun, casual kind of conversation format. So thank you so much for tuning in. If you have questions, you can always participate. So be sure to just accept the link that StreamYard requires you to do to be able to see your beautiful face on screen. But otherwise, let's kick it off. So what is in store for you today? So ladies, we are going to talk about the fact that style does not stop at 39. My work wife is proof of that. If you ever visited her home, you would know firsthand this girl knows how to put outfits together. Am I right or am I right? Right?
I love a good outfit. Listen, I love it. I didn't study merchandising for a reason at CSU.
Because you already had it in you, lady. That's why.
Yeah.
We're going to dive into some top summer trends and tips on how you can shop your closet and look sharp for this summer. We're also going to be talking to two amazing women out of New York City, the co-founders of Fancy, Erica Feit and Katie Keating. They are a strategically minded and creatively driven firm out of New York focused on elevating what matters to women. I love that.
I know, and they are fantastic women. I was so excited when you first introduced me to them, because you found their study online and then said, we got to talk to these ladies. And that was 2018, which is crazy. We're in 2020.
I know. Yeah, I know. But let's go ahead and kind of dive into our, whole idea of fashion, something right about there.
I love a good a great outfit. And one of my go-tos is a little, let me just share my screen, ladies, is of course a graphic tee. That's what I love. Can you see my screen, Lupe?
I can, girl. It's looking good.
So according to Elle magazine and W and so many others out there, animal prints, I'm not even going to say are back, because they're still in. And honey, I am loving those boots while you're loving the skirt. I would rock those boots with a pair of rolled up jeans and now my mask, a black mask. But I love that even animal prints are now coming in. Our new latest fashion statement, which are masks. I can't believe this is 2020. I literally just said that out loud, that masks are our new fashion statement, not just in the US, but obviously globally. But yeah, from shoes to skirts to shirts, purses, masks again, animal prints are in. And I'm curious how many of you out there love a good animal print? or how many of you have rejected it like I have for many years, but now I'm in. I'm going to, you know, once we're allowed to be seen out in public again, I can't wait to rock an animal print of some sort.
Yes,
right?
I love this. I'm a big fan of like the snake boots. Like I love a cool heel on a snake boot with some jeans. I'm like, I'm game. So
yes, and for the on the top of my head, there is a company that I love, and they have the best boots. I'll think of it and come back with it. But when they do sales, it is worth the investment. And I'll come back. It starts with a
something like fire.
Yeah, it'll come back to me. So the next one is striped shirts. Yes, and I don't care what size you are. Striped shirts are in as usual. The only difference is you can mix the print, which I love, and then the pop of color and the statement necklace that this woman has on the right-hand side. I love it. And what I love is that she has combined not just the prints and the pop of color, but that they're at least in the same flavor of color. So it's still black and white. I can't wait to actually shop my closet and put something like this together again once I can go to a restaurant and have a little sippy sip with everyone.
We've always got Zoom dates, honey. So whether it's, you don't have to wait for that. So.
Right?
And what I really love about these outfits is like they're dressed down, but then some of them, you can totally dress them up too, which is
I know.
Cool.
And they're t-shirts. And I love this one on the left-hand side. I will still rock and I think a lot of us will, our cutout, our ripped jeans.
Yeah.
Ripped jeans will always be in, I believe. I would wear those with those snake boots, wrap around a cute little flannel and again, pop it with a striped shirt. Now, I have the other one down below, even though it's simple. I love that she paired it again with a statement necklace. And below, she has Bermuda shorts, which, hello, they are back.
Throwback of the century.
Remember Bermuda shorts? I remember, Lupe and ladies, when in high school, how we were all not allowed at first to wear shorts ever, which is so crazy to think of now. And then when we were allowed to wear shorts, I'm sure many of you can agree, it had to be Bermuda. So they had to be just an inch above your knees.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I went to a prep high school, and so it was a skirt, but we had the option to wear shorts. So it's kind of like the ones on the bottom left with the, with the orange backpack. But they had to be like right above your knee. They were navy blue too. But man, talk about a throwback here. I haven't worn Bermuda shorts in forever.
Girl, I can't wait to pair with them. Yeah, I can't wait to pair some Bermuda shorts that I'll have to get, because I don't have Bermudas in my closet, because I'm all about shopping, which is the next topic, shopping my closet. But I'll have to get some. And then not only, obviously, will they look great with flats, because now flats are still in and probably always will be. But I am a high heel girl. And yes, I may be 5'11", but I will put on a pair of 5-inch heels anytime. I love it. Right?
Yeah.
Statement necklaces again, at least they're not statement necklaces, but I love that they're multiple necklaces around the neck. So that is the fashion trend. That's what's happening.
And I love that we already have some ladies already, participating. Brenda, Hansen, she's like, I love me some animal prints, which is fantastic. I know we all have in our closet.
Oh, I thought it was the other Brenda. It's Brenda Mercer. I thought it was Brenda from Brooklyn. I know Brenda's on
no. And then, of course, we also have Ms. Michelle Fox, who is talking about all over stripes. She's like, I'm a stripes girl. So fantastic.
Well, you have to make sure you wear your stripes the right way, too. So if you're larger breasted like myself, it's better to wear them this way, horizontal, then this way, because they're mine and everyone's will look like, you know, a size G if you're not careful.
Yes. Girl, I only wish I had that problem is all I'm going to say. Okay. You pay good money for that.
Lupe, what is your favorite? What is your favorite summer style? What's your go-to?
You know what? I'm definitely a summer kind of dress or like shorts kind of, you know, girl with like cute tops. I'm definitely, I love to be casual. And so I love to dress up my shorts with heels. I do like the summer heels or like the wedges. I'm a big fan of wedges. And because I'm only 5'3", so I need all the height I can get, ladies, is all I'm going to say to that. So I'm like, where's my 4-inch, you know, platforms or whatever. But it's fun, you know, and at least it brings me a little closer to reaching my husband at 6 and change. So
yeah, you're one of the short girls who stole one of the tall ones that us tall girls always talk about. My favorite, like I said, is a graphic tee. I have one on today, and it says that I'm a happy camper because. Listen, the world is crazy out there, and I like to wear a positive graphic tee, usually with a blazer and some jeans, some ripped jeans, and slap them with either some flats or, depending on where we're going, slap them with some high heels. Look at Elizabeth said, I have some for the mid. Oh, she must be talking about Bermuda shorts.
Yeah, and she was talking about bringing them back.
Well, and I will say too, when it comes to fashion hacks, by the way, before we introduce the ladies, one of the things that I do that I love is and I recommend, this is one of the things that we want to recommend to everyone. And Lisa Sharp and Heather Hope, who are personal stylists, I'm guessing would agree that the best thing to do, especially during a time like now, where money is tight, you already have a closet full of stuff anyway. We've all heard the term shop in your closet. I said it momentarily. Just moments ago. And it's true. So what I do and what I recommend is going to Pinterest every season. So summer is here. Now, I haven't done this for summer yet, but let's challenge each other to do this. I go to Pinterest. I first find out what the trends are. And I go to Pinterest, or I just Google, summer trends. And I will literally, as if I'm in the 6th grade, print them out and print out the styles. And I will cut them out and I will put them on a board that goes in my closet. Now, is this too funny? And then more often than not, this is still from, this is a mixture. So because our weather has been so nice that I can still, and cold, that this is still in. It feels like it. But I will literally shut the closet. I have a kimono that I'd gotten on this board right here at Target. Oh, honey, and I'm rocking this all the time. But what's great is you have a lot of stuff. I have Hunter boots. You can literally go in your closet and pair the things that you need. And if there's not something there, go to your favorite store, get that statement or a couple of necklaces, couple of earrings, whatever you may need, and make it work, as Tim Gunn says. Oh my God, I love Tim Gunn and Heidi Klum. I just finished watching their new show. Of
course you did, Barb. Of course you did.
I watched the whole thing on Netflix. So that's what I highly recommend doing, is going into your closet and, and again, making it work.
Yeah.
Use Instagram.
I love too that you also pack your stuff up by season. Like, you put away your stuff that you don't, use for a season. Then when that season comes back, you're like, oh, hey, I've got a whole bunch of new stuff. It's kind of crazy. I've learned to do that myself. And I find that when it's out of sight, out of mind, and then all of a sudden you get it back, you're like, oh my gosh, I love that piece. And you're like, fall in love with it all over. It's crazy, but it's true.
It's true. And you know what else I do? Here's another thing that I know others have heard about. And I think I heard about this on Oprah during one of her segments way back when. Is I take the whatever I'm wearing today, I will turn backwards, and I do have wooden hangers. Yes, I do. And by the way, I also have the things that you see at the stores that has the XL and the medium. I have those in my closet that say sweaters, blazers, and I literally separate my clothes according to, I know it's color coded and everything. But what I do is to make sure that I'm still in love with items, I will wear them and then I turn it backwards. And then by the end of the season, those that I hadn't worn, which probably I hadn't worn in a couple of seasons, they go to help someone else. They go to the Goodwill.
Well, there you have it, ladies, from our very own Ms. Barbara Brooks. Some ways to shop your closet, which, you know what, on a budget is not a bad idea. And I know you all have some pretty awesome stuff, so it's a matter of just getting creative. So thanks for that insight. Well, so ladies, on the heels of talking about fashion, I'm so excited to be going now virtually to New York City to welcome two amazing ladies, like Barb mentioned, that we met back in 2018. And it literally was because of a random search that we were doing when we were prepping for BizLife, or BizCon at the time, BizLifeCon now. Yeah. And I was looking for statistics on women over 40 and 50. And these ladies, we'll talk about it in the segment with them, had just released the results of a study that they had done with women over 40 and 50, about 500 women that they polled. And so we are going to talk a little bit about how this, how these two ladies founded an organization called Fancy and what they are doing to work with brands to elevate truly what matters to women. So with that said, let us welcome Miss Katie Keating and Miss Erica Five, the ladies of Fancy.
Hello.
Hi.
I find it funny to be.
I know we got twin action going, right?
Yeah, you do. It's cute.
I love it. I love it. Well, ladies, we're so excited to have you here. Before we kick off, kind of jumping into a great conversation with you, we're going to just give our community a little background about you all. So I'm going to read, Katie, your bio, and then we're going to transition on over to Barb reading Ms. Erica. So here goes. So Katie came to New York for a New Year's Eve party and never left. When I read that, I'm like, I love that. That's like,
that was some party.
Right? That's a classic trip to New York.
It's still going on.
It's still going on.
It's going on.
She loves the excitement born out of big ideas and brings that enthusiasm to every account. Prior to founding Fancy, Katie worked her way in, up, and around big name blue chip agency world after receiving a BA in psychology from Kenyon College and a copywriting certificate from Portfolio Center. She continues to be fascinated by what makes people tick, especially her husband and two teenagers in New York City.
All right, so welcome, Katie. I am going to now brag a little bit about you and read your bio, Miss Erica Fight. Erica's life has taken her to both coasts and both sides of the camera, which I found really interesting. As an actor and a creative director prior to founding Fancy. That's really cool. I can't wait to hear more about that. Erica was the only female global executive creative director in, oh my goodness, in the Lowe and Partners Network. Her career also included stints at McCann Erickson. Well, I almost said McCann Erickson. I'm so used to that. McCann, Gray, Della Femina, Bozell, and the in-house creative department of Clinique. Wow. Where she created memorable campaigns for, oh my gosh, Milk. We all have that one in our heads. L'Oreal, Coty, Pantene, and many others. We want to welcome you guys. This is, wow, you all are stellar, and we're so thrilled to have you here today.
And we're going to raise a cup, our little morning kind of cup to you ladies for joining us. Thank you so much for making the time. Yay!
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers.
So let's dive in. Barb, you want to kick it off?
Yeah, and so, okay, so Fancy. How long ago did you start Fancy?
In 2011. So it was about 9 years ago.
Okay, because, we have here that your agency is, obviously all about normalizing and and destigmatizing the topics of us that elevates it, what really matters to us as women. And you're tackling the taboo issues, ageism, sex, so many things that, quite frankly, a lot of folks don't even like to talk about, even within our community of women over 40 and 50. So that said, tell us a little bit more about how you're doing this with your clients. What's been the response so far? We know that you have Luminage and Lion's Den, which I was watching the ads for Lion's Den. And if my mom weren't maybe on here, I would tell you okay. You know, tell us about it. You know, what's been the experience and why did you start this? Let's go there.
Well, I'll start jumping, Erica, but we started the agency because in 2011 there was a big study done called to launch the 3% conference, and it was they figured out that only 3% of creative directors were women, which meant that 97% of the work that was being created and approved that was going out to the world's biggest consumer group, which is women, was being done by men. And we didn't think that was right. So we had wanted to start our agency anyway. We'd been toying about it. And that was one of the final decisions that made us do it. Also, when we looked around the agencies, we said, okay, well, there's only 3% of creative directors that are women, but how many of those are women who are over 50? And we were in our 40s at the time when we started the agency. And I was just 40. And we thought, well, we're going to be out of a job. Like there's just not, I mean, just statistically speaking, at some point soon, we were going to get fired. And so we decided, it seems crazy now, seemed really crazy then and still a little crazy now, that we decided that the sanest and most conservative and most financially planning smart thing we could do would be to walk away from our cushy corporate jobs and start our own business.
Wow.
So that's what we did.
Yeah. And I'll just add that
Yeah.
what Katie said about only 3% of creative directors being women, and that being one reason that we needed to move on, is so true. Personally, I had started to be inauthentic and not even liking myself in my job. The last job I had, I lied about my age. I lied to people who were telling, I mean, I didn't say how old I was, but there was I was in my 40s and a woman before me had, I had taken over for her. So who knows why, probably ageism. And people came up to me and said, the woman before you was really old and she was like 50. And I remember I didn't say, oh, well, so what? Instead I said, oh, I just didn't say anything. And I had also had an experience when I turned 40 where I was driving along in a car on the way to a shoot, and I was also excited. It was my birthday, and the producer I was with said, how old are you? Happy birthday. And I said, 40. And she just like stopped the car almost and said, I'm never turning 40 in advertising. So there's so much ageism in the industry that it's really understandable that these brands aren't speaking the right way to women, which is something we'll probably talk about when we get into our survey. But we thought there was a place to be more ourselves and to do work that that was so needed.
Yeah. I know a lot of our women definitely are between that rock and a hard place right now where they're among a small percentage, of just as a gender, a small percentage within their organization. And then you add in the age factor, and that small percent like gets into a micro, percent. And they struggle with this idea of like, well, what do I do? How do I fit in? Do I lie? How do I act more youthful? How do I stay more relevant? And it's real questions that we kind of go through in our head. But I love that you ladies took lemons and made lemonade out of it. Literally, like you're like, you know what? I don't want any part of this. I'm going to go and do my thing and create now an amazing agency that's all about promoting just, hey, women in general, but then now even women over 40 and 50.
Well, and sorry, go ahead. Well, what I was going to add is what another part of why we made this agency and made it the way we did is to provide an alternative way for women to work within the ad agency world. So whether that's women who are super talented and have been pushed out of big agencies because either they're, we're also more expensive as we get older, and there's always somebody who's going to work for less or, all night long or whatever. But we're also really good and really efficient. So we have, or there were younger women who are having babies. Even we worked with one person who was our account lead for a long time, who had her first baby at 43 and was just like, I'm not working in a big agency anymore. And she left to join us because people get to have their lives the way we operate our agency. And that's something that's important to women, whatever age they are. And it's important to us because we feel like the work is better when people are allowed to lead full lives and not have their life fit into their job.
Girl, preach, right? Like with that,
that's what a lot of our women say. Ever since we started this, they exactly say what you say, is that they're ready to really take a hold of their own lives and really do something that's more meaningful and purposeful in their lives than just grinding it out for whomever it may be that they're working for, and having to go into work every day and do what you're being told to do, whether you know that you've got more on your plate than and so that's also why I think 1,220 businesses pre-COVID are started by women over 40 a day in America, is because we're ready to own our own lives. And that means career.
Yeah, isn't that impressive? Out of 1,821 company or businesses a day that are started, like Barb said, pre-COVID, 1,220 of those are started by women over 40. Like that's phenomenal. And I think it has a lot of factors, right? Like women are like, hey, I want to do my own thing, or like you ladies, I don't want to continue in this same route and I want to create something better. Or it's ageism. Like there's so many factors that kind of come into play. Or women just saying, hey, I want to pursue my passion finally, kids are out of the house. I want to do my thing now. But for whatever reason, it's kind of cool to see that women are really taking charge and saying, I'm going to do me the way that I want to do it,
And the thing is, you guys have gotten a little bit of not necessarily pushback, but because you're female focused, tell us about what, since starting this, when probably your family, friends, and everybody else thought you guys were crazy to leave your great careers in corporate America in New York City to start a company back when it was, let's face it, we as women, even though we're starting that many businesses a day, it's because we're just now doing it. We weren't, it was passe or far reaching for us to think that we're going to own a company. So, let alone for you guys to do it in 2011. So what has been the pushback though, or how's it been in trying to push your message to corporate? I'm really curious about women.
You mean the mess about women? Well, actually, I have to say we thought about it for the first, when we first started our agency, like, should we know we are women and we know we're doing this to help women that work with us, but should we say that our agency focuses solely on women? And it was kind of a brave move back then. There were a lot of people who said that would be too limiting. And then when we decided, well, listen, there's this whole group of women that are actually the ones who have the money and have so much going on in their lives, these women over 40, and this is a group we're part of and we know a lot about, but they seem to be very ignored by brands. And isn't this a group we should talk to? Doesn't that make sense? It seems like they want this. And we did a survey, but at the same time, we also spoke to a lot of our clients, or all of our clients, and some previous clients. We did a whole audit asking them what they thought about us just talking to women over 40. And they all thought, what a great idea. They told us, this is a great idea. This group really needs people speaking to them. We understand the financial implications. They've got lots of wealth and they've got lots of interests and lots of things going on, but don't make it your whole business. And we thought, okay, well, let's just have a specialty in women over 40, which turned out to be a really good idea, because as much sense as it makes to talk to this group, so many brands are hesitant to do it. They think it's a great idea, but they can't like walk the talk, you know. They talk it and they love it, but then they're not really speaking to this group when it gets down to actual communications, and they're just really missing out. And they're just so used to talking to millennials. That's all we did before.
I mean,
who, by the way, will be 40 very soon.
I think part of it too is that the people we talk to, you know, in many cases were women over 40, and they responded instantly as people and how they personally would like to be talked to. But then, you know, then they sort of snap out of it and they put back on the brand management hat, and they're like, no, 18 to 34. And that's the part. I mean, there's a lot of there's a lot of studies and a lot of proof in like hook people younger and they stay with you for life and blah, that's where you should focus. And all of that's true, but or let me say, all of that has been true. But I think now women over 40 and 50 are experimental. They're trying, they're on the internet. It's not like you have to produce TV spots for prime time in order to reach this group. And if you're doing digital stuff, you're only going to reach younger people. So the messaging should be for younger women. I think brands are slowly starting to change and at least dabble and be curious about it. We've had a couple brands recently that we've worked with that have stuck to their mission. Well, two that have approached us to work on stuff for women over 40. One kept with their plan, and we launched a really great skincare brand for them. And another one that chickened out at the last second and decided, no, we got to be, they didn't say women over 40 aren't important, but they decided to really broaden. They didn't want to alienate younger women.
It's just so bizarre to me. So let's dive into your study. So back in fall of 2018, you interviewed I think it was 500 women, right? Or something like that for your study. And I mean, that's how we found you, because we were, like I mentioned earlier in the show, we were doing BizLiveCon, and we were looking for statistics about, women and how they felt about, how others perceive them, or about how society, brands perceive them. And some of the statistics that we found in your studies was phenomenal. It was mind blowing to feel that, or to see that these women felt exactly like how our community is feeling, that we're being overlooked, underserved, ignored, just kind of like what you're saying right now. But I'm curious to know, so in addition to having those it's been 2020, so almost 2 years now since you launched that study, and you're still thinking that there's been one bite then from the brands that you've presented your findings to and your approach for women over 40 and 50 since you did that study. Is that right?
No, there's been a little bit more. We've certainly had more interest and more conversations with brands since then. And I think partly we've sort of become known for that. So we'll have more conversations. But when it comes to really doing it and going for that messaging and a very, very specific target of women over 40, they haven't really. It's still very broad. Within mainstream brands that older women buy.
Yeah.
Now
it's funny because, oh, sorry.
Oh no, you go ahead.
Oh no, I was just going to say that we started this segment talking about one of the things we like to do, which is have conversations that people aren't often having about taboo subjects. And it's really interesting that over 40 we have found to be more taboo than other things. It's more taboo for us to talk about over 40 than for us to talk about our work for a sex toy store. And people love to hear about that. And they just want us to talk about it all the time. And it's fun. But the funny thing about it is it's much more acceptable,
Yeah.
So
So why do you think that is? Like, what is it about us women over 40 and 50 that all of a sudden scares these brands? Like, I mean, I know that they've been used to talking to millennials. So is it just a matter of like, I'm used to what I'm used to and I don't want to try something new? Or is it that they think I mean, are all the stereotypes that people say about us, are they just so ingrained? Like, well, you're too old, you're past your prime, you don't know, you're not stylish. Like, what do you guys think, in your opinion, is the root of that taboo, I guess?
Well, I think Erica started saying this earlier. The ad agency world itself is very young. So you have people creating the work that are 28 or 32 or whatever years old, and they put themselves into the work, both in terms of the as they think about the consumer. I mean, it's kind of natural. You think about, like, how would I buy this cereal? What makes me like this cereal that I'm, advertising? And so therefore the work that goes out tends to reflect the point of view of a younger person. It's not to say, again, it's a generalization. It's not to say that you couldn't be 30 years old and create something wonderful for somebody who's 50, but often, you have sort of all these people who are like each other, creating and approving and selling and promoting the same kind of work.
Yeah.
Well, my question is, though, as a person who's always, we're business owners, it's about the bottom line as well. So would their bottom line see a boon if they actually got to know who we are and recognize that we're 82 million strong in America? That's 45 to 64. And the fact that we are brand loyalists, and the fact that we are, we're 62%. I can keep going. We all know the research. So my question is, yes, they can put out all of these wonderful ads and all these wonderful campaigns, wonderful on their end. But on the other side of it, if it's not resonating with me, then I'm not going to buy it. And are they not seeing that the bottom line is not increasing because they're stuck here?
Well, I mean, women are still going to buy stuff, right? So you're still going to buy, your laundry soap, regardless of who's in the ad. You still have to wash your clothes. But I think, one of the things you mentioned earlier that we would talk to, and I guess that we could say a bit about it now, is, how do we as a community of women and women over 40 and 50 influence any kind of change? And a lot of stuff has to do with where you do spend your money. So reward the brands that are doing it right. If somebody is out there showing, creating work that displays who you are as a person, buy the product, let the brand know, comment on their social, tell them they're doing a great job. And that will encourage them to do more of that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
I love that.
I really think it's groups like the one you've started, and others that are going to be able to make the change, because there's a lot of power in groups. And I think this is a pretty new thing. I mean, it hasn't been until the last few years that women over 40 have really been mobilizing together and becoming, letting people know the powerhouse they are. So it has to change. And not to mention, you guys are so good with all these statistics, but there's some crazy statistic about how much of the wealth in the US is going to be in the hands of women over, I think, 60 very shortly. It's a super powerful group. And I think there's so many other things too that we learned in our survey that about these women. I mean, a woman in her 40s there are just so many products that are right for her to purchase. She could be a mother of young kids. She could be a mother of grown-ups. She could be taking care of her parents as well as her children. She could be starting your own business. She could be at the top of another business that she's worked in for years. And there's just such a wide range, and it's there's hardly any brand that could not fit into that range. So we're hoping they catch on.
Yeah.
One of the things too that we found in our survey was that, and I'm sure your group and people who are watching this can totally relate, is that women who took our survey, so mostly between 40 and 60, although some over 60, felt cooler and stronger and sexier than they ever thought they were going to feel at this age.
Yes.
And it's so true. And I think we're kind of claiming that as women right now. And there had been, up until now, and still within advertising, which kind of lags culture a little bit. It can shape culture, and it can also reflect where we are right now. But advertising is aspirational, and it's always kind of been thought that the aspirational age is a much younger age. It's a 25 or 30-year-old person. And now we have kids, Erica and I have teenage kids. They're so psyched to be our age. Like they don't look at their parents the way we may have looked at ours. Like, our concept of, when we were 20 years old, of what 50 years old would be is much different than what 50 years old actually is.
So true. I mean, and I think we resoundingly, with the snaps and all, completely agree with you ladies on that one, because that's exactly where our women are. Like, we're like, we are, and I love, because Barbara and her mom came up with this, like 50 is the new 50. 40 is the new 40, 60, et cetera, et cetera. We don't want to turn back the time. We are totally owning our age. We are pretty badass in our own right, and we love how we're looking. And it's this idea though, that I feel like brands are just missing, like they're missing that connection about this idea that women are feeling more comfortable in their skin and they're owning their age a little bit more better, or a little more so than maybe what we have done in the past. And I think comment too about, ad agencies, serving or having younger reps working on ads. Like the idea too, Barb and I have always been talking about intergenerational workforce.
Yes.
This idea to say, hey, you know what? We value millennials, but there's some wisdom, 40, 50, 60 plus, that if you created an environment that tapped into both, like imagine we could perhaps maybe circumvent even this whole conversation about do we create brands or ads specifically for this demo? The answer would be yes, if you had the right type of infrastructure and employee setup to vouch for that idea.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it's about taking some of these stigmatized, again, conversations and making them, normalizing them, bringing them out into the open. I mean, if you're going to not talk about menopause, if you're not going to talk about things that are happening to women, in their 40s and 50s, then you're making it seem like it's taboo and bad. And this is something that doesn't stop your life. Like there are so many weird, myths about all these things that happen to women as they get older that just need to be debunked and need to be talked about and normalized. And I think that will help a lot too. It's groups like yours, really.
Oh, thanks.
Well, I love Brenda's question. Sorry, Lupe, I jumped on this, but because I think this was a good point. Are ads being dumbed down? I mean, the blue bear is cute and you want to take it home and well, for me, give it to my dog to play with. But I mean, she's talking about in toilet oh my Lord, I need my glasses.
Thank
you. You can read it, Lupe.
Yes, it says, how brands dumb down their message to women. Why am I listening to a blue bear tell me what fabric softener to use? A family of blue or sometimes red bears tell me what toilet tissue is best. Or are they talking to us, the 40, 50 plus audience? What do you ladies think?
I mean, is the question, were those things created in a way to speak in a dumb way to women 40 and 50? I doubt it. I don't think they were designed for women 40 to 50, whether they're resonating with it women 40 to 50 or 20 to 40 is, I mean, you'd have to, they're not resonating with Brenda, that's for sure. And
No.
and you know, it's not it, I don't know whether they're on, I don't think, and I think Eric and I and our whole agency, we're not really about like criticizing the work of other agencies, and we try to be sort of positive and think the best of intentions of people, but I don't think that they're trying to dumb down the work. I just think they're not giving credit to how smart we actually are and creating work that pushes it, and that's challenging, not challenging difficult, but challenging, like it has a little more to it than the kind of easiest way to communicate. I don't know if I don't think I'm articulating that very well. I should have actually put coffee in my cup instead of
Yeah, me too.
No, you made sense. You made sense because, especially as you said earlier, if these are younger folks that are leading the charge and creating these ads, they also are probably thinking, why would I target, even though the research says, you know, it's the 45-year-old who's buying our product. That's old. In their heads, that's what they're thinking. So they're still going to create something they think is best for us.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
And I think both of those brands are not trying specifically to reach women 40 and 50 years old. I think they're very, you know, they're a brand for, you know, it's a toilet paper and a fabric softener, that it's something everybody uses, not specifically for this age group. But I think it's clear that it's not resonating. And so, you know, let the brands know if you don't like it.
Yeah.
So we have time for one more question. So I'm curious. So give us a highlight of maybe some brands that you see that are doing it right. Like, what are some brands that maybe you found that are taking into account women over 40 and 50 and starting to dip their toe into creating ads or marketing specifically to women over 40 and 50 that you could give a shout out to?
I would like to give a shout out to our, and it doesn't seem brave now that we talk about it, but brave within the context of other brands, our brave client, 18B, which is a skincare brand, a pretty new one. And they are really trying to talk to this age group. So it's 18B skincare, and they're, and they've done it. I mean, like Katie said, we've had other brands, especially beauty brands, talk to us and act like they want to talk to this group, but never really follow all the way through. In fact, we will do a bunch of work and they'll love it and then they'll chicken out. And these guys are not chickening out, and they're treating women in this age group like the intelligent women they are. They're talking about science. They're not being frivolous. They're not using soft, gentle colors. They're being bold and using bold fonts, all these things that were not stereotypically meant for this group or even for beauty. So I'd say that's one. It's hard to find them though. There are not many.
Yeah.
What do you think, Katie?
You know, there are, that's the one I would mention too. Because they really made a decision and went for it. There's a couple of shampoo brands that are trying. I don't, you know, neither of them are really doing advertising, but they are, or much of it, but they're out there with products specifically designed to address concerns that we have, because you know, I never knew this. Eric and I have worked on beauty projects for 20 years, and I had no idea that your scalp and the way your hair grew changed so dramatically after age 45 until Eric and I were on a panel with the woman who started a hair care brand called Better Not Younger, and she told us all about it.
Wow.
And so I think that's really interesting that people don't know, and it shows how much effort has been spent on talking to women over 45 if we don't even know this stuff about ourselves, and fine if the general population doesn't know, but Erica and I have spent years working on hair care. Like how could we not know? And the reason, and the woman who started the brand too said this, because she used to work on a different hair care brand. She said, because the briefs stopped at 44. You talk to women who are 18 to 44, and so it's really great to see that some brands are being created for specific wants of our age group.
Yeah.
And sex toys and when it we didn't tap on into that, but we have to also, you said it, that we feel more sexy. Michelle Fox admitted that, more sexy, more confident at this time in life. And this is a subject that shouldn't be as taboo as we were raised for it to be.
Right.
And I know that could go into a whole nother area, but thank you for even working on that.
Well, I'll just say also just quickly that Lion's Den, who's the client, our sex toy retailer client, he's the guy who is the marketing director, really wants to have a wide range. He's really concerned about diversity, but also age diversity in his work. So every campaign that we've done has had people who are not your typical people you would think would be advertising sex toys. And it's a real testament to him and the way he sees women's and couples' sexuality, that he acknowledges and celebrates the fact that it still goes on. It's not it's not left only for the 18 to 22s.
Right?
Thank goodness.
Barbara, you can tell your mom that all the work we do for Lion's Den is safe for work. That it's all there is. We try to get the message across without, we can't show anything or say anything because we can't. They run it on television and it's not allowed. So so it's all kind of funny, and you have to get it's not hard to get, but
yes, no pun intended.
Right.
Well, ladies, we want to thank you for all the amazing efforts that you're doing, on our behalf for our community, to help brands understand that we are a force to be reckoned with. We're sexy, amazing. We're here to stay, and we're both so excited to just see your work. Brands, let's listen in, because we've got some real conversations going about how you guys need to catch up to where we are, to better understand what we're feeling right now. So thank you for all of your work, and thank you for being part of the Morning Cup.
Well, thanks for inviting us.
Thank you. Thanks for everything you're doing.
Absolutely.
All right, ladies. Have a great rest of your day.
You too. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, that was an awesome conversation, and kind of crazy to hear some of the rationales on why people are on some of these brands getting cold feet to talk to us. That's just so weird to me.
Yeah, I think it. I just had to pull up Brenda's thank you to Katie and Erica. And I love that the other folks are saying how informative and thoughtful the session was. I love that. I love hearing that we're bringing them the content that they want, especially with us doing this as a new thing for us. To really propel our ladies 40 and 50 plus to not only own their value, know their value, but their sexuality, their confidence, and everything. Now we just got to get the companies to believe in us.
Girl, yes, ain't that the truth? But I'm glad that we have organizations like this, helping us. But ladies, it falls on us. And I loved, I think it was Katie's tip of follow and support and buy from the brands that are getting it right. If you see yourself represented, then reward those brands with your dollars. And if they're not getting it right, then think about, is there someone else that I could go to for what I need?
Yeah.
So I thought that
You
was
know, somebody in the Facebook group page had posted months back about, and this leads up to what we're doing, Lupe, with the directory, is if other companies aren't going to hire us, if we're not going to get VC dollars, if we're not going to be, you know, respected in any manner, then we've got to support each other.
Yeah.
And with us owning, I mean, really Gen X as a whole, so women and men, are 62% of the population. You know, it's
they cannot continue to ignore it.
right.
So,
Anyway, yes. So this was really great. And so just coming up next week, we have Michael Beavis. We're so excited. He's with the city of Denver. He's a part of a new department that the city and county of Denver have created. He oversees director of innovation and entrepreneurship for the city. They plucked him up from a university here in Colorado. He's also an entrepreneur. He owns Cool Skins, which I love. It's performance wear for animals. So if you have an animal that gets heated during the summertime, Cool Skins has you covered. So it's KOOL Skins.
S-K-I-N-Z, isn't it? Or something
Yeah,
with
with a Z.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's going to be here because there are a lot of resources out there. We're not talking about your typical small business association, but there are a ton of free resources out there for us business owners. And those of you that are in corporate America, I think you can still take a listen to what he has to offer, because if you're in marketing, advertising, or anything, there is a plethora of resources that the city and county of Denver offers us. And a lot of it happens at the Commons on Chiapa downtown in downtown Denver. So he's going to be with us next week. I'm really excited. He's a big fan of Second Act Women. He'll also be with us and I'm segueing into BizLifeCon. He's also going to lead a session about this. But we're so thrilled because at BizLifeCon, we finally go on sale tomorrow.
Yay!
And, yay!
Progress. So we haven't been delayed on purpose. There's been a lot that's been kind of going from a live to a virtual, experience. So
yes. And so we've been working behind the scenes with Talk to the Camera, the ladies over there, to put together an experiential Zoom conference for you. We're going to be using Slack as the channel to communicate with women. You're really going to still have a huge opportunity to connect with one another, which is why we're here. But we are announcing now, and I did last week too, that we have the recent former editor-in-chief of Entrepreneur Magazine, who will be our guest speaker that morning. That's July 17th, Amy Cosper. I have a girl crush on her. She is an amazing woman. We became friends on the back end on Facebook, and we have yet to meet. But one time when I stalked her at an Entrepreneur Magazine conference, because I love this magazine and I have a girl crush on her because she is one that I think can really help elevate and help us reboot, which is the name of the conference. And we've become friends. And she's a real mom. I'm still straight, by the way. I just have to say that.
Girl crush fashion.
All right. We also have our favorite comic coming back, Debbie. And it is Pride Month, and we are so excited to have her. She's an MC and does a lot for Pride. She is coming back. She is our girl. We love her, and Debbie Shear will be back with and Katie and Erica will love the comedy, right? Like she gets real.
Considering that they rep Lions Den, they'll be like all over that.
Yes, she is out and proud. Yes, and we love her, and she's going to be back with comedy at the end of the day to really lighten things up. So we're excited to have her. We still encourage you to have your mimosas, even at your desk or couch, wherever you're going to be. It's a part of our conference.
Absolutely.
So that's on sale next week, tomorrow. And the Morning Cup we already talked about. And then Lupe, you could talk to them about this launch of the new series before we say goodbye.
Yes. So ladies, we are ramping up the life track of our organization by introducing a new series that's going to focus on kind of similar to like what Erica and Katie are doing, talking about the taboo, all of those subjects that we, the beliefs, the ideas, the just the biases that we internalize, that we sometimes at Women 40, 50 plus know that other women are experiencing, but we just don't have those open conversations. So whether that's all about like imposter syndrome, am I good enough? Am I not good enough? Focusing on what I believe in and how others perceive me, or talking a little bit about, everything from confidence. What does confidence look like after 40 and 50? And why am I struggling to really zone into my genius? And so I am excited to be working along with Katie Smith-Bittler and with Ms. Brenda Aviles, and of course my very own Barbara Brooks, on this new series that we're going to be introducing to you. If you get the chance, ladies, we will post in this thread the survey that we have put out there to get more information about how to better serve you, and are the topics that we're proposing on point with what you're experiencing. So if you get the chance, please fill that out and let us and help us make this an amazing course and experience for you ladies.
Yeah, and join our insiders newsletter. Our newsletter. We have the insiders. We encourage you to join the membership. It's on sale for only $129. But also we have a weekly e-newsletter where some of the topics we talked about today are a part of that. And, we encourage you to do that. If you have any topics or suggestions, email us at hello@secondactwomen.com. And we just want to thank you. Invite your friends to the group. The community is real. We will always be authentic, even though we know everyone says it's an overused word, but it's true. And we are all about not pivoting, but swiveling.
Yes, all right, and with that, we're going to try it again to kind of say it on point.
Okay,
right?
let's try to get it together. Okay, one,
two, three. You can't fill
someone else's
cup if yours is half full.
Okay, we'll get it someday.
Thank you so much for adding us to your morning routine. We so appreciate you. Thank you for being the best part of our community, and we'll see you next week.
That's right.